English no. I English no. I English no. Time study. Study is time. Vacation, 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 vacation. College, 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 college. Library, 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 library. I am the best. I am the best. English easy as English easy as yeah. Dear friends all over the world, welcome back again. This is Mr. Osama Muqbil, the English teacher and the self-improvement coach. Dear friends, you may have laughed at the video I have just made, but guess what? The bitter truth is that some students are still using the same primitive way of learning that belongs to that stone age. If they want to learn a couple of words, they just fetch a sheet of paper and write these words on that paper, and more disastrously, they write their meanings in their mother tongue. And then after that, they keep walking across the room back and forth until they memorize them, to realize then that all of these words have reduced to ashes. What is the problem exactly? The problem lies in the way you are using all the time. How can you memorize those words if you don't know how to pronounce them correctly? How can you use them effectively if you don't know how to use these words in a content? You must make sure that your pronunciation is correct, because this is very essential and extremely crucial. Never ever listen to those people who say that it's not necessarily to pronounce these words correctly. And the most important thing is just to know how to convey a clear message to your listeners. How can you make your messages that clear if you don't know how to pronounce these words correctly? So please remember this very well. Each time you want to learn any new word, at first you have to know how to pronounce it correctly. Number two, you have to know how to use it in a content, in a sentence. Number three, you should know how to spell it. And number four is the part of speech of that word, whether it's a verb, adverb, adjective, or noun. Because if you don't know what part of speech that word is, surely you will never know how to use it correctly. So please remember these four dimensions if you want to learn any new word. How to pronounce it, what part of speech that word is, how to use it in a content, and finally, how to spell it correctly. Today, we're going to get to know some words that are mispronounced among second language learners. As you see that these words are very common, and I know that you have at least one or two or even three words that you always mispronounce. So it's time just to correct and adjust your pronunciation so that you make your speech as clear as possible when you want to talk or communicate with others. Remember that this is the third episode about mispronunciation and the last one, because I know that I hate the idea of spoon feeding my students. So now it's time to roll up your sleeves. It's time just to do your job excellently. It's time to surf the internet and find out some other words that are mispronounced among second language learners. So what are these words? How can we pronounce them correctly? And how can we use them? All of these questions will get answered in this video. So please stay tuned. The first word for today is mischievous. 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 What does this word mean? This word actually is an adjective that means very naughty or harmful. Sometimes this word is used to describe a kid's behavior, especially that playful and cute behavior, but it's sort of naughty. For example, we can say, oh, you know that my sons are very mischievous, or one of my friends is really mischievous because he always makes trouble. So when someone is a troublemaker or very naughty or extremely harmful, you can say that he is mischievous. Are you mischievous? Hopefully, you are not a mischievous person. Number two, colleague. 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 One more time. Practice, practice, practice. Colleague. Now, what does this word mean? Actually, it's a noun that means the person who works with you at the same place. Whether you are a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, a professor at university, you can use this word to describe the person who works with you at the same place. You can say, my colleagues are awesome. Most of my colleagues are very helpful and wonderfully cooperative. Colleagues. Do you have good colleagues? Are you a good colleague to your colleagues? Hopefully you are. Number 3, vacation. Surely we can't pronounce it this way, vacation, but this is the British pronunciation. If you want to pronounce it with the American pronunciation, you have to pronounce it this way, vacation. Now, I'm just exaggerating to help you know how to pronounce it correctly. So just remember, each time you want to pronounce a vacation and you are using the American accent, remember to pronounce it this way, vacation, vacation. Vacation. You know that I feel very exhausted. I'd like just to take a vacation. On summer vacation, I do a lot of activities. I feel extremely happy on summer vacation. Do you feel happy on summer vacation? Do you do a lot of activities on summer vacation? This summer vacation, are you going to travel after coronavirus? Hopefully it disappears as soon as possible. Summer vacations are really awesome. Vacation. Vacation. Now it's time to get to know how to pronounce these two words, but first you should know what they mean. Actually, when you quote or use a quotation, you use someone's words as they are without any changes, without any additions or deletions. So use the same words exactly as they are. For example, you can say, to be or not to be is considered one of the most famous quotations of William Shakespeare. Now, what's the difference here between quote and a quotation? The difference is very subtle. The first one, a quote, is considered informal. This is the short form of quotation. And sometimes we can say that a quote is used as a verb and the other one is used as a noun for sure. So you can say, excuse me, could I quote your words? Or could I use your quotation? Quotation or quote. We don't say quotation. Unfortunately, I used to mispronounce this word when I used to study at university. But the big question here is it the end of the world? Is it the end of the world? Is it the end of the world? The answer is no, 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 no. As long as you're still alive, you have a great chance to correct your mistakes and pronounce these words correctly. So please don't forget, quotation, not quotation. Quotation, not quotation. So, excuse me, could I quote your statements? Could I use your quotations? Yes, here we go. Use all of my quotations. I'm at your command. Next, we have the word robot. Robot, not robot, okay? Robot. Robot. I think in 2025, most of people will have robots in their houses. Robots. Are you interested in robots? Actually, no. It's not my cup of tea at all. So I'm not interested in robots. Robots. It's a noun for sure. Next, we have library. 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 Okay. The library is the place where you can borrow or buy books from. So we can say, for example, I think that this library is full of wonderful books. I love this library because I love reading in such a quiescent or a quiet place like this one. Do you love going to libraries? I'm a very big fan of libraries. This is a noun for sure. Then we have this word, jewelry. jewelry, jewelry. Jewelry. Actually, this word is used to describe ornamental or decorative objects worn basically by women, such as necklaces, bracelets, rings, earrings, and so on. Guys, here you have to bear in mind that the word jewelry is an uncountable noun that takes singular verbs all the time. So it's impossible to say jewelries because this is wrong. Why? Over and over again, because this word is an uncountable noun that takes singular verbs all the time. For example, you can say, my jewelry is very expensive, or her jewelry costs a lot of money. There is something else I'd like to share with you. Don't mix between the word jewelry and jewels. The word jewel is a countable noun. What does it mean? It's a very precious stone that is used for decorating jewelry. So the word jewel is a countable noun, so we can't say jewels, but the word jewelry is an uncountable noun, so that's why we cannot say in English jewelry. So we say jewelry all the time, but we can't say jewels. Last but not least, we have this verb. I know that you are good enough to pronounce it correctly, particularly in the present. We say read. Read. If you want to understand yourself better, you must read. If you want to augment your knowledge, update your information, and give that a great appreciation and respect from others, read. So read every day to keep ignorance away. Now, what about its pronunciation in the past? I know that you pronounce it this way all the time. Read, read, read. But it's wrong. Now in the present, that's cool. But what about its pronunciation in the past? Simply we say red. If I asked you, what color is this? Simply you say red. It's the same pronunciation exactly. So I say, I read a book yesterday. Excuse me, what did you read last weekend? Actually, I read a very awesome article about megalomania. If you still remember this word, that means that disease of a greatness when someone thinks that he is better than others or very superior to others. So what did you read last weekend? I read an article about megalomania. I read. I read a book, I read an article, I read a story, and so on. So please don't pronounce it read in the past. Read only in the present time. Eventually, I'd like to thank you wholeheartedly for tuning in and watching my video through to the end. Kindly subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and if you feel that it's useful enough, try to share the link with your friends, family members, or even acquaintances who are interested in learning English as a second language. Until I see you again next week, I wish you a very wonderful weekend full of love, inner peace, and all kinds of ecstasy. And remember all the time that yes, you can improve your speaking skill and the other skills if you keep practicing all the time with love, passion, enthusiasm, determination, perseverance, and positivity until you make all of your dreams come true. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.